Welcome back to the WHHI-TV Daily News. With me now is Mayor Alan Perry. He is here for his monthly update, but of course it's your first one of the new year as well.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And we're headed really into your third year.
That's right. Yeah. Hard to believe.
Hard to believe. But we're going to back up just a little bit to the very end of the year where, you know, lots of things fly about out there. Lots of information gets out that is correct. Lots of information gets out that is incorrect.
That's correct. So that is correct.
Yeah. So there were some things written towards the end of the year that maybe called you out for some quote unquote secret meetings, things that people weren't real happy about. Maybe they didn't think it was as transparent as it could be. So let's dive into that. Let's talk about that and what you have to say to that.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for asking the question, right? Because it's important that the community knows and they understand what goes on to go into a meeting, right? And, you know, we're talking about the bridge, right? And we're talking about the lack of funding. And back in June, we gave municipal consent to the county and the state to land the bridge on Jenkins Island. Funding has fallen short. So there's $200 million short. So what do we do, right? And what are the options and how do we address that? What is the county thinking? What is the state thinking? So December 6th, there was a meeting that was held.
And of course, that was right after the election when you found out about this.
Right, that's correct. Yeah. And, you know, so there was a meeting that was held on December 6th. We notified town council on December 5th that this meeting was going to happen with the county chair, Larry McKellen, Alice Howard, Senator Davis, myself, Councilman Brown, some staff members from both the county and the town, to discuss what does it mean? Where do we go? How do we address this shortfall? What are the options going forward? You know, we hit a roadblock, pun intended. We hit a roadblock. And, you know, what are our alternatives now? We don't know. So we've got to face, you know, questions, and we've got to look at different opportunities and different options and different choices to make going forward. You know, just like when you get on the Waze app and you're driving, you hit a roadblock. What are my alternate sources? Where do I go? What is the project going to look like? If we can't find the extra $200 million, what are our options? And, you know, we've got to make certain that we have safe travels on and off the island. And that is really most important. And that's what we did. You know, we had those conversations and we asked questions of the county that they in turn have gone to the state and asked those questions. And we don't have those answers yet. So, you know, in 2023, I had over 500 meetings to get ready for public meetings. That's what I do.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number. And there are always meetings getting ready for other meetings. And that's what we did.
Okay. Well, speaking of other meetings, and this one is a public meeting, you have a workshop that's coming up tomorrow. Tell us what's going to be talked. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be, as many of them are, lots of discussion, you know, lots of opinions. Talk to us about what is on the table tomorrow.
On the table tomorrow it's a workshop about the bridge. Where do we stand? It's just what I talked about. What are the options? What do people think? You know, we have a responsibility to move the directive that council put in place in June.
Right.
And that is the current project as stated. And if that's not going to happen, then where do we go? Right. So, but we've got to have all these conversations. We got to understand where everybody lies.
And if you were to change it, what has to happen in order for that to be changed?
Exactly. Right. So, and that's what we don't know as well. So if the size was to change, or if it was just one lane, if it was just, one bridge, you know, what's the process? Does it change the whole NEPA process? Does it change everything with the federal highway? You know, and we don't have those answers yet.
Okay.
So this is all about, okay, this is what we know, this is what we don't know. And how do we move forward? And I think from tomorrow, we'll hear a lot of conversation about alternatives and things like that.
Right.
And really right now, in my opinion, it's about the bridge, right? It's about the safety, getting people on and off the island. It's about our economic future. And we're going to come out of that meeting tomorrow having more questions.
Of course.
But we're also hopefully going to be able to figure out a timeline to come back together with some answers.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a solution day. It's an idea day. It's a day to put it all on the table so everybody.
I mean, we're really going back to the drawing board. I mean, because we have no choice.
Right. It could be. And what's the delay in that?
Yeah.
You know, the South Carolina Department of Transportation, the State Infrastructure Bank, they have their ideas, and we don't know exactly what they are yet.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress.
Yeah. As it has been
yes,
for quite some time. So we've got a little under a minute left, but I know you want to talk a little bit about next week is your first town council meeting.
That's correct. Yep.
And you have a couple new members there.
Right.
And then in February, you've got your strategic planning meeting.
We do. So we got another council meeting on February 4th, and then on the 5th and 6th of February, we have our strategic workshop. And that's where we're going to talk about all things for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, this is what we're going to do. What is the directive from the current town council?
Yep.
What are our priorities? So it's going to be really interesting, and it's going to give us a chance to get to know each other even better on town council.
And the public is allowed to how many of those
Absolutely.
meetings? All of those.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can find out those details on the
town
town's
website. Yeah. So the strategic action plan will be at the Westin. Start the morning of the 5th and go to the afternoon of the 6th.
All right. Well, Mayor, always good to see you. Thank you for being here and maybe adding some clarity to the situation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And we'll be back in just a moment, so don't go away.